The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
It's your boy Uncle E-Buck in the building, hollering at y'all today on this Wednesday. And because it's Wednesday, y'all know what time it is. It's time for us to talk sports as we do every Wednesday on this show known as the Guru Sports Session. And of course, as always, I tell you every single time, we cannot have a conversation called the Guru Sports Session without my man, as I calls the Guru himself, Hugh Lee. What's happening, Hugh?
What's good, E man? It's been a heck of a day, man.
No doubt. And a cold one. Here in the D. We one of the coldest places on earth right now.
They were saying some of the places over here on the East Coast, man, is basically colder than than Antarctica right now.
On earth, I said.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that at first until I started to see it for my own self, man. Especially
Yeah, but,
man.
but yeah,
We
we called this months ago. Here we said this was gonna be a bad winter, and we was right.
Crazier summer too. Watch.
It very well could be. But in the meanwhile, we got some sports to talk about, so we're gonna get into it. Without further ado, Hugh, go on, kick it off, bruh.
Want to start off with the news that broke earlier in the week that Big Mike McCarthy, former Green Bay Packers coach, former Dallas Cowboys coach, is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers as their new head coach. And I thought that was actually a simple situation where, unfortunately, Mike Tomlin stepped down. But I looked at it and I felt like, okay, this possibly might be a reach out, situation too, to say, okay, yeah, we know Mike Tomlin's not going to be here no more, but we're going to try to still seek after my man's, Aaron Rodgers and see if this will be able to keep him afloat. He still didn't make a decision yet, but when they asked Mike McCarthy, how would he feel about bringing back Aaron Rodgers? And he said, why wouldn't I, man? Because you already know the guy already know his system, and I think it's in place for him. But it's up to really right now what Aaron Rodgers want to do with his career. But I'm very curious to see what's going to happen there. But your thoughts on that pickup?
Pittsburgh is about to go through some changes they are not familiar with. Understand, the Pittsburgh Steelers football franchise have had only 3 coaches in their whole time of existence, okay? They, of course, had 2 Hall of Famers and Bill Cowher and, yeah, I go forget. But anyway, the man who won 4 Super Bowls, okay? We're going to get into him a little bit later, by the way. But look, between them, then they're 45 years of coaching, okay? Then you add, of course, the great Mike Tomlin, who did another damn near 20. So 60 plus years, just 3 coaches. I'm a Lions fan, okay? In them 60 years, we done had about 30 coaches, all right? Now, Pittsburgh has picked up Mike McCarthy, who is in his 60s and has had a decent career, man. He's won a Super Bowl. But is he about to do the next 15, 20 years?
No.
Is he about to do the next 5 years? No. There's 2 reasons why we got Mike McCarthy. One, because, okay, with Aaron Rodgers, we ain't got to deal with the quarterback situation because obviously Pittsburgh is looking at this from a financial standpoint. Okay, we ain't trying to spend no big money, and if we need a quarterback, eventually we're going to spend the big money. So we'd rather keep Aaron Rodgers and deal with it that way if we can. Second thing, which I did not know till today, Mike McCarthy, where that dude from?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Which makes sense because you want the fan base to kind of be like, because remember, we know how good a coach Mike Tomlin was, won every season. Every season he was in Pittsburgh. That being said, the fans of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania still wanted him gone. The majority of them, when he was gone, was like, okay, I'm with it. I'm with it. So now you got Mike McCarthy. Good luck.
I don't even really look at it at that same situation like other people is, and they're like, man, I don't think that it's going to work out. I'm looking at it like it's definitely a temporary fix right now until they really get what they're trying to get in order. And I just think this was a stopping point for him. I think at the least, I would be surprised if he coached over 2, 3 years in Pittsburgh.
Right.
That being said, I just felt like it was a collateral move to bring back Aaron Rodgers right now. So that's what I believe that
I
basically is.
really think it's more of a move to keep the defensive guys happy. So they don't feel like, oh, this a whole rebuild. I ain't trying to do all this. We damn near was in the playoffs and did something. I don't want to start all over. So I think he got hired more so for their benefit than Aaron Rodgers.
Because what I look at it like, what I'm seeing is a lot of the people who are there right now don't want to have a whole new coach where it's a whole new system and everything in place because Aaron Rodgers, when it comes to offense, he's going to be familiar with Mike McCarthy plays versus them getting something like a whole turnover as far as having like a new coach, like say if Joe Brady went over there and he won his own, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coach. When you get that whole type of rebuild, man, I don't think people would be comfortable with that in Pittsburgh. So having it where it's little to nothing right now, I believe that's going to work, and that fits for them right now in their culture.
Right. Now, if this had been any other city, I've been like, why you couldn't give another brother a chance? But if anybody that looked out for the interest of African Americans in the National Football League, it's been the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I can't be mad at them for this hire. It's just,
Yeah.
we know it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah, because like you said, Chuck Noll or
There we go.
like not gonna come back in that building. So
No.
yeah, we got to just definitely see what they're gonna do right now. Even Bill Cowher. So yeah, it's just like the next man up, and we just will see what he can do because we know he has somewhat of some success. He coached Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott. And I just feel like right now what they're trying to do is just keep everything afloat in Pittsburgh before they have to blow everything up. That's just the bottom line.
Right. I mean, long story short, pretty much every team in that division starting over anyway, with the exception of Cincinnati. And you would think, based on what we're seeing, Cincinnati, you should be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the last place schedule, and you don't have the turnover that the other teams do. This should
Absolutely.
be your year next year if you make the right moves in the offseason.
Because they did a sneaky move the other day too, as far as when it came to coaches, because most of the coaches are full now. You only have two positions available. That's the Las Vegas Raiders and the Arizona Cardinals.
Two jobs don't nobody want.
The rough part too, because the crazy thing was when Joe Brady got hired, I mean, he wasn't no rocket scientist. We weren't like, oh wow, he got hired. Because if it was big news, I'd have been like, yeah, I definitely try to, speak about it. But it was just like we kind of figured he was there. They wanted to keep Josh Allen happy, so that was a smart move.
That's
Why
all that is.
his offensive coordinator and to the actual coach? But the big news today came out of the NFL world was Todd Monken going over to play or to the coach for the Cleveland Browns. And the reason why that news was so big is because I thought, like, man, did Jim Schwartz just have 2 interviews, man? And I'm thinking he was the sure guy. I mean, come on, man. We seen what he wasn't shabby when he was with the Lions, man. He actually was a decent coach then. Then he turned around. That's when the culture of Detroit really started to change and we started to get back to relevancy. Then he ended up going to the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl with that defense. But he's been a defensive genius, man, especially when he went to Cleveland, man. He knew what he had over there. But then that was kind of crazy because I thought they definitely was going to keep it to the familiarity standpoint. But getting Todd Monken, man, I know he was pissed. And I don't know if you know, but he had a lot of rants online, man, and he don't want nothing to do with that organization anymore. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with him and how things going to shape up after all this.
Oh, they pretty much said, a few of the talking heads, that Schwartz is out of there. I wouldn't stay if I was him. Why would I?
That's a
I mean,
slap
in
of
the end, Todd
face.
Monken is not going to change what's going on in Cleveland to any great degree. It was a bad hire.
I'd be surprised.
I do believe we'll be finding somebody else to go to Cleveland.
I'd definitely be surprised. They probably give him a chance, but I don't know for how long though.
Bottom line, my question simply is to Myles Garrett: was it worth it, bro? Was that money worth it for real?
He got all that money just to sit there and just for a team to look like they're gonna rot for the next few years.
More.
All right, man. I want to go ahead and I want to talk about the games, man. We had a night and day, literally type game. That first game in the AFC Championship with the New England Patriots at Denver. That game was one of the games where definitely it was like wasn't one that I was looking forward to in the playoffs. That first half, I looked at that and I said, damn, the score 7-7. The defenses was playing well, but it was only one big move that Jarrett Stidham did. He caught, the New England defense slip and Christian Gonzalez on the big play, and then Cortland Sutton got it in the red zone. And then it was crazy. One of the head scratcher plays to me was they got a sack fumble and New England took it in for a touchdown. And they basically said that it was grounding and it was turnover on downs to New England. Like, come on, make that make sense. That clearly was a fumble and they recovered it. But then obviously they still ended up getting the points and it was 7 even. But in that second half, man, that was like one of the worst blizzards you could ever imagine. Seeing it on TV looked like it was just snowing. But when you actually looked and they showed the camera angle, man, that looked crazy. It's like you could even barely see.
It looked like that.
And I definitely
looked like that.
The snow weather game, but it didn't bring any good offense or anything or no strategy. It was like basically when they kicked that field goal and nothing else happened in the game. But my question to you is with Sean Payton, man, because people wanted him fired after that decision. Why didn't you just take the points when it was 4th and 1? I understood that if you would have got that first down and y'all would have drive and scored, New England would have lost anyway. But they tried to go for it. New England almost got the pick, but it was still turnover on downs. And that definitely determined the game.
That one play did not cost them that game. That stuff you see behind me, that's what cost them that game. At some point, I got to think that the NFL needs to consider that if you're going to have these games in cold weather places, you need to have new stadiums where you can have the option of whether to play outside or indoors for the betterment of the game and the fans and the people who pay their money, okay? Understand, we had that type of weather here in Detroit. That wouldn't have been a problem in Detroit. Why? Dome. Minnesota, semi-dome. Indianapolis, dome. Okay? Any place that has that type of weather this time of year, if you're going to have a playoff game, it should not be in those conditions. It was terrible. And thank God that New England didn't have a home field advantage for this game. Because then that game would have been even worse if they had played it at all. I blame the weather for a lot of what happened in that game because in the end, it would have been a much more score. I mean, half those field goals that was attempted would have been normally no problem, okay? But because of how that weather was, crazy. Some of those passes in the second half where they just was like, it made that game unbearable for me to watch, okay? Could not stand it, all right? In the end, yeah, they had good defense and all that, but in the end, I think we kind of got played on that.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing because a lot of people was talking about that, saying they definitely need to do something about these, cold weather, climax.
I mean, just think about it, Hugh. We got the college playoffs right now, right? And all the different little bowl situations and whatnot. None of those bowl games is in no cold weather type place. I understand it's not necessarily fair for the up north teams, but in the same token, is you really trying to sit there in that and watch a game for real and pay all your money to do it? I know I would.
That's why I feel like these teams need domes or they need some type of, options because that'll definitely make for better games because Dallas has it, but they really don't necessarily need it because for the most part it's warm there in Texas. Other places should have that opportunity to have that, for the outside or indoor. But I don't know, man. It's like, is the NFL ever going to break and give to do that? Because they're so used to the old school way of playing, like the elements and everything. Because even when it's rain, it'd be really bad when it comes to catching and passing the ball. But let alone the snow and you can't see. So yeah, hopefully they'll figure something out. But that was really a tough game to watch. And that 10-7 score, everybody looked at it like New England had the easy path. They had the easy road. They didn't really have nobody to play. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, can't blame them for being 4-13 the last 2 years and bulked up on their team. But the problem is, though, it was just like, man, the football guys has been on their side. You had a team
Mm-hmm.
in the Chargers who had a banged up O line, and then Justin Hubbard was hurt in that 13-6 victory. My man's CJ Stroud threw 4 interceptions in the game. They helped
They
them win
played the Raiders. They played the Titans. They played the Jets. Come on, man. We know the
the
story.
Bengals. Yeah, it was just
They played all the buns.
And even if they did play like teams like the Ravens, man, that's not the same Raven team. So, yeah,
Nope.
man, this is definitely going to be a testament to their will going into this Super Bowl. Because I told people about this team for what I've saw, and it all started with them basically playing, that last game they played when they ended up closing out the game on a 2-point conversion and winning that game. Speaking of that game, that Rams and Seahawks game was everything we thought it was going to be.
That was a
But
real playoff game. Yes.
you feel like Tyleek Woolen. Remember, he was on the trade, deadline, and a lot of people were talking about him not being there in Seattle. I don't see him being there after that stupidity that he was doing in that game. But both teams gave up a lot of big plays. It wasn't like one team was, real dominant. You had it where they got sacks and they got really good plays and stuff. But when it came to the big time plays, they both gave up a lot. But it was really fun to watch because Stafford played good. He was clean and Sam Darnold was clean. But yeah, man, a lot of people slept on that Seattle Seahawks offense, man. Sam Darnold held his own in that game. They looked both pretty good because I believe Matthew Stafford threw for 376 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Sam Darnold had 346 for 3 touchdowns. Both had clean games, but the run game was actually good on both sides too. And then, of course, come on now. I mean, you got Puka Nakua and Jackson Smith and Jake, two of the best wide receivers. They're definitely top five. But the X factor was, man, it's just Sam Darnold played clean, man. And them ghosts he was seeing back in the day wasn't there. But it almost got to the point where they could have gave up that game. The one silly mistake, like I said, was on defense. Like, did you see that yet, E? Man, that dude, they was it was 4th and 12, man. And then they was gonna get them off the field. That clown went over and started talking to their sideline, acting crazy, getting out of hand, unsportsmanlike. 15 yards. Puka Nakua made him pay after that, man. And that's when the game got close because the game wouldn't even been close if he just would have kept his mouth shut and played like he was supposed to. But that being said, man, it was very exciting at the end because it still almost went down to the wire. Because if Puka would have somehow got out of bounds, they still had a chance. So when it was a game that went down to the actual very end and 0 seconds on the clock, yeah, man, that definitely to me, technically, without throwing no shade, man, was the Super Bowl.
Those two teams, they came in that game thinking, okay, we're going to give it all we got. And they did that. I think what really won the game for Seattle is one thing, well, two things. One, and yeah, okay, Hugh. All right. Yep, I was wrong, okay? Sam Darnold legit, okay? All right, he ain't seeing the ghost no more. I clown that dude way too much. Just like my man Stephen A had to do, I too had to take it all back. My bad, Sam. You legit now, bruh. You basically overcame your obstacles, much like the dude over there in Tampa Bay, young Baker Mayfield, and now you starting to live your best life. And if you make that next step and win the big one, yeah, we got to start giving you your flowers correctly.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah, you definitely was a big part of that game. And second, got to shout out the 12. Okay, Seattle showed up and showed out in that game. Okay, it was loud as all hell, especially when the Rams got the ball, and that did lead to certain things that they did on offense that didn't quite click the way they could have, particularly in that second half. So as a result, they did show that having home field advantage, if you are the right team, is definitely to your advantage. It definitely was in the case of Seattle.
and what was crazy about it too, a lot of people don't realize, man, as much as hardship that he's been getting, Sam Darnold, that dude just turned 28. So he was only 27, man. He was still young when they gave up on him. From him going from, the Jets to the Panthers to San Francisco from that little time. And it's just funny, man. And it's like
Minnesota to here, yep.
yeah, it was the really crazy path. But he got there, man, before Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and, a lot of the other players, man, that came out
That
of that
draft
draft.
class, yes.
Baker Mayfield.
There is something to be said to that, yes, sir.
And it's funny too because Drake May did too, man. I didn't think, coming out of that rookie season that they was gonna just get everybody together because I seen it because I looked up and seen that they tightened up that offensive line first, and I said, man, them some good low key pickups for their offensive line, and they got enough of them to where the offensive line hasn't been really that much of a worry. But then you turn around and you shored up that defense because the defense wasn't really that problem. It was that O line, and they just looked really bad. But yeah, they shored up that team, man. And he actually is there too before some of the other guys in this draft, like Caleb Williams, and some of the younger guys in that draft class too, as well. So yeah, I was definitely surprised in his path too to come to the
Well,
actual
again, you got to give that draft class a little credit right now. Think about it. Caleb Williams, uh,
Stroud.
of course, Drake May,
Oh, no,
and
my
then
bad.
last year you had Jay Dane. They all
Yeah.
have been to the playoffs in the first couple seasons.
And then Bo Nix, man, they
Don't
all
forget
went to
Bo
the
Nix as
conference.
well.
He-
Absolutely.
Because technically, you can say what you want to say about Bo Nix. He still was in the conference championship, even though he couldn't play. He got them there. So yeah, when you look at him and Caleb, and a lot of the guys in that draft, man, Jaden Daniels, that's impressive, man, because
Right.
because
Because
they
you're
went
not
pretty
going
far.
to be having this conversation a few years ago about this draft class coming up. I tell you that.
I definitely can't say that much, man, because you after Fernando Mendoza, man, it's like everybody
All
else
off
just
is very steep after that. Yeah.
I want to talk about now, after that was played the two games, man. Do you think now that it's an opportunity or possibility that, Matthew Stafford might just hang it up, man? Because I definitely didn't feel that way.
No, I think he stays now. I think he definitely would have hung it up if they had not made the playoffs. He definitely would have hung it up if the back issues that basically plagued him during the preseason would have been a problem all throughout the year. I mean, pretty much once the season start, we stop even talking about his back being a problem. Think
Yeah.
about it. During some of those first few games, he probably still was having back issues, and he still played MVP type ball. So if anything, next year he might be a little healthier and might play even better still. So yeah, if
Yeah.
I'm him, he only 38. I understand he's been in the league 17 seasons, but in this day and age of coddling the quarterback and whatnot, hell, if Aaron Rodgers could do 42 on a busted up leg, he could definitely do one on busted up back for a few more years. Why not?
I feel like too that long as he stayed, you would definitely still have Devontae Adams back too, man. You got to feel bad for that brother, man. He's on 5 in conference championships, and he's never been able to really rebound and get to that next step to that Super Bowl. And when you seen him at the locker, man, and he was talking to the reporters, he couldn't even get the words out. Like, man, why are y'all talking to him right now? You should let him be right now, especially when I understand now when some people be like it's unsportsmanlike when players, walk off or they don't talk to the media after those type of crucial games, man. You got to realize these dudes are human beings. And then to try to keep your emotions in and still have a straight face and talk to reporters, that's brutal, man. Because when I seen him basically can barely open his mouth, man, and he can barely talk, yeah, that was like one of the worst things I've seen, man. You definitely feel bad for that brother.
Unfortunately, that's part of what the job requires, you. They want us to capture the feelings of the players in the moment. That's why they have us go in the locker room about 15 minutes after the game so we find out how they feel at that moment. We already know if you let them wait an hour, you're not going to get the same type of emotion that you will get in that moment. Because, let's look at the flip side of that. When we talk about the New England game and they talked to Stephon Diggs after the game, and he was quite emotional, but for a good reason because he had put in the work. He had overcame the injuries and whatnot and dealt with all the negative criticisms in the Buffalo situation and what have you. Now he's in the Super Bowl. So again, if you wait, you don't get that type of emotion from him. So that's part of why that is what it is.
What was cool to me too was the fact that at first I was like, man, I don't know if New England should be doing what they was doing. Matt Collins coming out acting like he was, doing a reenactment of the Warriors movie, man, when he was clinking the bottles saying Warriors come out to play. I was like, I don't know if you should be doing that in Denver, man. You should be chilling out, man. Don't get nobody no situation where they can see that and take full advantage and, get them that bulletin board material. But you can't really say much when they back it up, man. And I can't even really call it backing up, man. It was just the advantage was the football guys has been on their sides this whole playoffs, man. But I definitely don't think it's gonna be something different now coming into the Super Bowl, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that's gonna be. But we're not gonna really get into that really right now. We probably give like as far as when it comes to the Super Bowl the strengths on both sides, but we're not gonna really get too in detail in that. We'll focus on
We
that.
need weeks, bro.
Yep, it'll be enough time to talk about it. I want to get into like NCAA football, I mean basketball, the women's and the men. But yeah, man, just recently, man, we seen because at first I thought that it was going to be another loss because Iowa State's been having issues as of late, man, with what's been going on. And then if I'm not mistaken, I think you sent me a clip too. And at first we were just like, "What's up with all the crooks, man?" Yeah, she's not playing up to her potential, but a lot of teams got game plans against her, man. But the cool part about it was when we started seeing stuff, we was like, man, what in the hell is going on with this coaching staff? You seen the person pick off two people. You seen she wasn't in place. They're trying to get her attention to call and give her plays to put in. And then by that time, before you look up, a person at the rim laying the ball up. How the hell the guard get 17 rebounds too when you supposed to be under the paint in that game? So it's a lot of issues right now going on with that coaching staff. Yeah, and I don't want to take the flowers away from old girl Jada Williams because she had 44 points, the second most in Iowa State history. Of course, all the crooks had 47. But what the heck is going on with this coaching staff, man? And what is going on as far as the women being where they need to be to play the games, man? It's just like sloppy coaching right now.
Let me break this down a little bit, if you may. Okay, here's the deal. I'm getting kind of upset with people saying, okay, look at this young lady. The real problem is that she is overweight. And because of that, that is why she is not being to her best potential. I say it's BS. Here's my thought process on it. Let's go back to the days of the NBA, back when we had all five positions, okay? This young lady would be what in NBA standards based upon that discussion? She would be a center, correct? We have had centers built like this in the NBA, have we not?
Oliver Miller, for one, come to mind.
For example, hell, we can even go back as far as back in the early days of the round mound of rebound, Charles Barkley, who
Mhm.
truthfully was pop boy, but he was kind of a center at the same time. And people like that. When you have players built like this in the league, Stanley Jordan, I remember him. What did you usually do with them when you knew they was not very good at lateral movement? Did you not just stick them in the middle and say, grab the boards, be in the middle, try to get some blocks, right? Right? Let's fast forward to this day and age. You have a player this size and everybody else is quote unquote regular size. What's the obvious thing you should do?
Put her in the paint, damn it.
No, I'm talking about defensively, Hugh.
Oh, defensively? Yeah, you got to make sure that she's
You
blocking.
play a damn zone. You play a zone, okay? That way she ain't got to move but from here to there in the middle. And in the end, if her man wants to be on the top part of the zone and shoot threes, you make the guards cover that, okay? It's not going to be too many centers that size that's going to come out and shoot like that. I mean, we got the Sarah Strongs of the world, but how often they going to play a Sarah Strong type player?
That's the problem, because I believe Iowa State play man-to-man for the most part, too, and that's been cooking.
That's what our real problem is, and it's not a good man-to-man defense at all.
They don't even really got people who can defend at a high level, so why would you have man-to-man when, it just don't make any sense?
Right, and we didn't see this early on, Hugh. Why? Because they was playing some nobodies for the most part.
That's the thing. Well, now when she opened her mouth and then the big teams, the big girls came out to play, it seems like now that whole team as a unit is being exposed. Yeah, when you play these okie doke teams, it's fine, but when you play the better competition, you got to step your game up too.
Right, because see, my point here, Hugh, is this. Yeah, we can go the route of, okay, if she just lose this my way, but think about it. Where does she score most of her points?
Down below.
If you lose the type of weight that you think she should lose, and I know most of y'all going to be like, she could lose like 60, 70 pounds or whatnot, she'll still be 6'3", 2 enough. But if she get that many points in the paint, if she's a quote-unquote regular size individual, no. You see, she has a bit of a perimeter game, somewhat. But in the end, I think it's about maybe as good as maybe an Angel Reese. And I know y'all like, ooh, but Angel can't shoot. Now, truthfully, she can. We didn't see the videos. But in the same token, Angel Reese ain't nowhere near that size, all right? But she get rebounds. She get boards. She can play in the low post. Okay, what it is she is a better defender than Artie Crooks. So, yes, Artie Crooks needs to work on her defense, true enough. But what it really boils down to, team defense. They need to work on team defense. They need to work on team offense, okay? Because in the end, if Artie is getting doubled and triple teamed like that, what's supposed to happen, Hugh?
Supposed to dish that mug out and have an open person get that ball.
And outside of Jada Williams, who hitting on that squad right now? That, my friends, is the issue. So, yeah, Artie, you really got two issues. One, look, next year I need some more better weapons to work with, okay? Or if not, this is 2026, is it not, Hugh? The day and age of transfer portal and NIL.
Yeah. You can definitely get somebody through there, man.
Artie will get a nice coin somewhere else if she went somewhere else.
And they definitely don't want that to be the case.
Put that child on Notre Dame's team next year with Helena Hidalgo.
They definitely need
and prosper. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely need a big over there.
Put that child on that team in Columbus with the two twins and whatnot, okay? Mm-hmm. Hell, put that child on the squad over there with Vanderbilt. You see what I'm saying?
It's a lot of teams that could use her down below, man, who got
some Old Acre about to graduate, I believe. Put her on that Texas squad. I mean, it's a lot of options for her out there if you can't properly utilize her. Because in the end, I don't care what y'all say. She will make it to the W. She will be a factor in the W. Will she be a all-day, everyday type, starter type player at that weight? I don't think so. But I don't think you need her to be. You can have her come off the bench and be very effective, I think, for spurts of 12 or 14 minutes, okay? She's not going to play the 32 minutes a game she's playing right now in college. But for 20 minutes, you could definitely do some things with her and that big body. Because there's still not too many people in the WNBA that can take her one-on-one. I promise you that.
Don't believe so. I definitely feel like too, man. What I've seen, and it's funny, man, because what I like about just the men and the women's, man, you never know which day in, day out, who's going to be a factor and who's going to be the better team because we had some really stiff competition, man. And I want to talk about some of the ladies still. I want to stay on that side. It was to the point where South Carolina was in the doghouse and then they went back to the penthouse within a few days span. Speaking of, Malaya Chavez went off while Oklahoma played them because I remember you was like, I'm just surprised that they're hanging in there. But I was kind of looking in at the game and just seeing them just kept playing, kept doing what they had to do, and the game was pretty close. When it went to overtime, I said, okay, I think South Carolina has the chance until they didn't. Chavez went off in overtime. How many points she had? Like 6, 15, 16. And,
What did
yeah,
I tell you about that kid? Keep in mind, we're talking about Aaliyah Chavez, the number one recruit in this year's class, ended up going to Oklahoma. I told you she's very, very streaky. She was like that in high school. She is like that now early on in college. She has games where she'll miss like 10, 12, 13 shots. But of course, she got the green light to shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. And in that game, going into the fourth quarter, she only had 9 points, okay? But suddenly, a couple of them started falling, and she got hot. She got hot, hot. And remember, they do have some nice players in the low post at Oklahoma. So again, it's the opposite with that situation. When she not on, her job is to pound it in the post to the big girl, Reagan Beards and them, okay? But when she is on, her job is to shoot, and their job is to get open. And that's exactly what happened. And unfortunately, that made it to where Coach Staley was not happy.
Oh yeah.
Not
And
happy.
then it's like what's so cool about it is the next it wasn't even like a few days or so later. I didn't expect for them to beat the brakes off of Vanderbilt like that. I thought that it was going to be a pretty good and close game. But yeah, when I looked up, they had them almost by 30 points, man. And this was like in the third quarter. It got to the point where I was like, yeah, man, it reminded me of that UConn Notre Dame game when I said, man, I don't have to finish watching this. I already know the outcome. Yeah, that game got ugly.
Vanderbilt is overrated. I think we have learned that in these last couple of weeks.
Absolutely. We've seen it the last two games because Michigan, if they had some of them, shots for, but let's be honest, they didn't call a damn thing in Vanderbilt. We was
They
looking
let them
like,
play
man, what's
way
wrong?
too much.
It
Way
was,
too much.
man, it was just a really like unorganized officiating crew. That's just my opinion. Not
I
even
had to
trying to,
agree on that game
say
very
that,
much
but
so.
it was just poor officiating, man. It was like so many times Michigan supposed to went to the line or got the ball, they didn't get the ball, and they just looked the other way.
I say the real problem with Vanderbilt right now is they're in the SEC season, and then every team they play the next month is going to be ranked, and in the SEC, and yeah, they in for a rude awakening.
They
Okay,
still
because bottom
play.
line, we know the plan for them. Okay, Vanderbilt, let's slow up old girl, and the rest of them we ain't gonna worry about as much.
And that's basically what the key is, man. Because besides Malika Blakes, man, who else gonna do anything on that team that you really know of?
They got some decent post players, we know that, but in the end, they're not the type of players where they can get their own. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot her name, number 15. She's massive.
Yes,
She was balling. She balled like a grown man, literally.
for real. But again, like I said, against basic team A, and again, Vanderbilt's non-conference schedule wasn't that strong. So yeah, they look good early on, but now
Yeah.
they got to play the big girls, and they got to avoid the big girl draws. And I don't think they brought enough in their suitcase.
Man, I want to get into the men's side of the basketball right now. What was crazy to me, we were just talking about my man Charles Bideko, because he was pissed off because he wanted to get back from the G League of in the NBA to go back to Alabama. It was two guys that already got their opportunities, and he wanted the same opportunity. Alabama denied him that. Of course, they went to court, and when that happened, he actually was reinstated immediately, man, and came off the bench, and I think he scored like 13 points in the Alabama Tennessee game. What are your thoughts on that, man? That was just a really crazy situation.
I'm really struggling to have thoughts on this. The way it's set up right now
It was
is
so
very
weird.
confusing. How some players who can play in the professional leagues can
Yes.
still have eligibility in college, but some cannot. How some players can have a COVID year, a red shirt year, another red shirt
Mhm.
year, and of course, you already know they're trying to change the red shirt rules in college football. So, of course, if they do that, they automatically gonna look to do the same in college basketball, where you can mess around and play most of the season and then sit out maybe 8 games. Be like, okay, well, we can redshirt you for next year. And it's like because these people getting paid and whatnot, and you know that once you get your league, because remember we had that conversation last week about how many actual slots is available in the NFL. You know it's even less in the NBA.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you get paid in college to play, why the hell would you not stay and do so? If you could actually do both, and it appears in the case of some of these players, they still gonna be allowed to do both. So after your college season, you still get to go back to the G League. Tell me how that make any sense?
Wow, man. That just lets you know, man, from the NIL standpoint to the transfer portal, man, they needs to get something in line. And I believe they
This is
was
a mess right now.
in a couple of years they're trying to get somebody to actually mediate and fix these issues, but it's so bad right now that we were saying that, Ian. That's what I was afraid of, and I think my man's McAfee said it too. You know, he was saying he was afraid of what was going on with the sports right now. And when Pat McAfee said that, I understand what he was saying, especially when the NIL first came into play. He felt like, man, it's going take away the purity of the actual college sport and the profession. Is going to make it more of like being a profession, man, like a job. And that's how it looks now, man. But it's even more messier than that. Like, how you tell me that get out? I selected, I'm saying I want to go. This is my choice that I want to go into the draft. Okay, I go into the draft. I'm in the G League. Okay, I'm not really getting that much play, but I know I can get NFL and college. Then I go back. But then, say for instance, once I finally get out technically, I probably won't be able to go back to actual college after this season. But then I still have a slot to go back in the G League. I'm lost for words.
Right. And then of course I could see a scenario where it start to play out the reverse way on the NFL side. Not necessarily with the NFL, but we had a league called the UFL. It would only make sense that okay, let me try it out in the UFL since I can't get drafted early on in the NFL, play a couple years in the UFL because I still be eligible to go back to college and play. Why wouldn't I try that?
That is insane. But yeah, that's what it's getting to, man. The sports world is starting to get too messy, man.
They really needed to sit down before they open this Pandora's box and establish a set of rules to play by for everybody. Eventually, I think we get there because we're gonna have to. Because if not, we had that problem. Then, of course, there's the pending problem that's starting to rear its ugly head with all these different little controversies about point shaving and things of that nature. Well, that's going to start to be a bigger issue in the months to come. So I think it's only to be the tip of the iceberg for some of these scandals to come out.
Yeah, we was talking too, because even I don't know if you know, man. I'm surprised you ain't even tell me you was proud of me for watching all that college, man. There's been some good college going on, man. The game that I watched that I was impressed with too on the men's side was on my man's Keaton Wagler, man. He was cooking, man. When I seen them hit like those three threes in a row, I said, yeah, this gonna be a good one because I really felt like Purdue was gonna kind of handle them, or at least Purdue was going to end up persevering and end up winning this game in the end. But no, it didn't happen that way. They held their own and they stayed in it, but it was too much from Illinois, the Illini, and they ended up pulling it off. And then at the same time, that Keaton Wagler kid had 46 points, man. I was telling you too in one conversation that I was looking forward to Peja Stojakovic's son to go off, man. But then he ended up being banged up the game. So he was playing gingerly because he still had like a bruised or sore ankle. But yeah, man, I didn't really look at Illinois to be that good, man. But that's a nice team they have over there, man. I was definitely impressed.
It's a nice team and a very nice conference. Okay, Big
Yeah,
Ten on the men and the women's side. A lot of very good teams involved on both ends of that. Going back to the women for a minute, if you have not seen UCLA play, very
yeah,
good veteran laden squad. Okay, a lot of juniors and seniors on that UCLA squad. You definitely want to keep an eye out for them. Now that they the number 2 ranked team in the country. But going back to that Illinois game, it's something to be said for when you own, you own. And in that game, that brother was on fire. Okay. It ain't nothing like when you own. Like I said, if you ever played the game of basketball, you can shoot a little bit or you can shoot a lot. Keep in mind, I'm not on that level, never was on that level, but I've had my days where like, oh yeah, this boy feel good. All I gotta do is get it up there. It'll go in. He had one of those games, okay? But the crazy part is he a freshman. So, you weren't expecting it from him. But then it seemed like other players throughout the country that day was like, oh, I see that game. Let me go out and do my third this. Because then talk about what happened with BYU, you.
AJ, Devansa, man, he had a really crazy game. That game, I thought they was actually going to pull that game out, and I definitely looked at it, and I didn't think they were just going to really just, go crazy like that. Because right after my man's had that game, Keaton Wagler, AJ Devanska scored 40 points, man, and he looked good doing it too. And not only that, but even in the game they lost against Arizona, they took them to the limits, man, because of that dude, man. I definitely don't feel like he's coming back to college next year. Let's just be honest, man. He's gone.
I think it's in the realm of possibility for a couple reasons. One, I hate to see that dude do what he's doing now and end up being a wizard next year because it's bad enough we don't get to see him play enough as it is on TV. He gonna get lost in the sauce over there. He's a very good player. I don't think he's the type of dominant player where he suddenly becomes must-see TV wherever he goes. Okay, they're doing that for Cooper Flag, but it's other factors that come into play there. But yeah, in the ideal world, I would love to see BYU pony up some more money and be like, can you stay one more year and really get the program going the way we need it to, man? And kid from Boston, his family, they got a little scratch, so it ain't like they press for the money like that. But again, remember, this dude getting $8 million in NIL money alone. This ain't counting his endorsement deals he got coming. So it ain't like he pressed to go. You see what I'm saying?
I agree, man.
Years ago, he'd definitely be up out of there, but I think it's in the realm of possibility.
What's funny to me too, man, speaking about just how good the college men's are, man, our Michigan Wolverines was on the ropes yesterday, but I tell people though when they saw that game, because one of my homeboys, Dion, mentioned and he said it on his post, he was like, damn, Nebraska got some ballers on that team. Hell yeah, they do. They're ranked number 5 for a reason.
And I forgot they also are still they was undefeated. I forgot that they was undefeated. I thought it was Arizona.
I seen a few games they played, and I was like, they decent, but are they really decent like that?
They really decent.
They put Michigan on the ropes, man, and I was scared because I didn't think we was gonna pull that one out, but that was a really good game, man. And the crazy part about it, what's his name? Bryce Sanford, man, that dude, man, it's a lot of good stuff and good parity over there in the Big Ten.
Right,
man.
That's the thing. It's a lot of very good players on men's college basketball this year, but it's a lot of good, very good players. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really wondering, because of NIL, do we get a lot of them to stay? Or do they all just say, bump it, I'm good enough to go? It's interesting because a lot of them are just sophomores and freshmen, amazingly enough.
We got a lot of
people who we thought would be credible people in college was a lot of, the athletes whose dads was in the NBA, but you're not hearing a lot about most of those kids this year.
Yeah, man. What I've seen too, just in general, that we have a scrappy team over there in Michigan, man, and we got can score, but there's other teams that had that same formula, and that's what make a lot of the teams dangerous because it's already hard enough to play in the Big Ten, but then you got the SEC too, and even the ACC, which I'm surprised that Kentucky is not playing as good as I thought they would.
And if you want to have an idea of what we're talking about, do nothing more than tune in Friday night on Fox. You got the Michigan Wolverines playing the Michigan State Spartans. That's going to be a hell of a game.
That's gonna be a really good game. It's gonna be like a playoff game early, man. And that's why I'm saying,
Absolutely.
damn, I can't wait, man. And we so close to February. You already know what comes up after February. This March Madness is gonna probably be one of the best ones we ever see. So yeah, man, guys will. I'm
Right. Because
definitely
right
looking
now,
forward
I
to seeing.
understand Arizona #1, but I can't say definitively that they're going to win the national championship.
They
I,
almost lost yesterday.
I seen them. You said what now?
They almost lost yesterday.
And they almost lost a couple times these last couple weeks. And they're not even in a tougher conference as some of these other teams. So it's definitely going to be some good basketball to watch these next 6 to 8 weeks for sure on men and women's side.
Did you hear about Michigan basketball recruit Marcus Mauler, man? He's been diagnosed with testicular cancer and taking a break from sports. His current team is announced. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, I was definitely concerned, man. Of course, you be wanting to see the talent play, man, but when it comes to health and just in general, man, you want what's best for these kids, man. Just wanted people to know about that and kind of talk to you about that. But he definitely in prayers, man, because yeah, to be in a situation where you're about to be in you might as well call college now with the NIL, the professional style, of play, and you get this opportunity to be recruited to one of the most coveted schools in college. And then to hear that news too, man, you got to hit the reset button, man. His health is more important than anything right now, man. So yeah, just wanted to basically talk to you about Marcus Mauler, man. And I definitely, had that kid in prayer.
Yes, definitely prayers for him and his family. Understand that his story is one of several that you will hear throughout the college football, basketball, baseball season because these things happen. Understand one of the good things about being a athlete on that level is that you oftentimes get more examinations by doctors than you would your typical person. So you tend to be able to catch these types of things a little better. Imagine if he was just basic person A and he finds this out, it's a little harder to deal with. Not to mention the fact, as an athlete, you would think that his body would deal with things a little better because of the physical shape he's in. But also, you got to consider, okay, if this is what's going on with him right now, and his dream was to be a professional football player, a lot of the teams they're gonna be like, "Well, that brother had cancer. I don't know." You know what I'm saying? So for him, this is his now. You know what I'm saying? That's why NIL is good at times because perhaps because of the fact that he is a cancer survivor and whatnot, that might lead to him getting some deals that he would not get normally if it was just the regular scenario. Perhaps he could become the face of a cancer organization or something like that and make his money that way. So even if he don't make it to the next level, he makes a few extra dollars. You know?
Crazy thing too is linebacker from the Denver Broncos, Alex Singleton, revealed he had surgery for testicular cancer in Week 10 of the NFL season too, man. So, like you said, it's like the science and the research and stuff they put behind these athletes. It's a blessing, man. That's why we like to see some of these athletes go to the combine and do things of this nature. Because if they don't go through some of these tests and do some of these drills, a lot of times we look at it like it's an underwear, basically Olympics, and people make fun and they laugh about that. But a lot of people found out or they've been diagnosed with things that was able to save their lives and protect them going to the professional level, man. So yeah, man, just to have that type of research and medicine and science, man, I definitely appreciate that because these kids are finding out a lot earlier.
Right, because we done learned a lot over the year. I mean, think about people like Hank Gathers. If he would have had the modern technology we had now, maybe he would still be here to tell his story.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, that's very critical, man. So definitely love what medicine and science has come this far for athletes and just in general, because a lot of people are getting the help that they need and deserve at this point. I want to talk about my man's Rick Pitino becoming the fourth coach to reach 900 wins, man. In Division One basketball. I know that should be impressive to you, man, because that guy been winning some everywhere. But yeah, that was big news to hear, man. And I want to know how long he gonna stick around after hearing that too, as well.
I mean, Rick Pitino, he been that dude since his days at Providence. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he has not only coached in college basketball, but in the NBA as well. If you remember him in his time as being coach of the Knicks. I believe he coached the Celtics as well at some point. The thing I like about Rick Pitino is he don't offer you a lot of BS, okay? He lets you know, okay, this is what I feel, and this is how I feel about it. I'm old school, but I'm trying to deal with this new school life. He didn't made it known he ain't all that pressed about what's going on with this NIL situation, but I'm sure he's starting to think of it the way several of the old school coaches will think about it, where it's like, look, why am I even trying to recruit high school kids anymore? When I could just go ahead, wait for the transfer portal, snatch up my kids from there that already got a feel for college basketball, and then grab the rest from overseas where they already got some professional in their blood, and I can just plug them on in. And I think his thought of what that hybrid looks like is what's going to be the standard for some of the bigger programs, because I don't think every college basketball program going to afford to be able to do it that way. But, I just like his foresight in thinking that. But you got to be that way if you're going to win 900 games. He done had to change as the times have changed. And that's why he's been successful.
I definitely feel like that was big news for him, man, because like you said, just his success in general that he's had and his impact in just the sport today, whether it's NBA or college. So yeah, man, definitely well deserved. And congratulations to Rick Pitino on that 900th win.
Absolutely.
I want to move on, unless you wanted to take a break, because I definitely want to start getting into the NBA because there's a lot of crazy stuff happening on the NBA front too.
Yep, and then there's another big news story that we definitely got to get to for the end of the show. We will do that. Before we do that, though, we will talk to y'all about this Nighthawk Network and some of our shows and our people, because we definitely want you guys to tune in to all the shows, including this one we about to show you now. When we come back, we'll get a little briefing, and then we'll get back to the show. All right, this is Guru Sports Session. That's the Guru, Hugh Lee, also known as Uncle Hugh, and me, Uncle E-Buck. We'll be back after these words from the Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
Hold up.
Game on, watch me rise from the dirt to the clouds to the star-filled skies. Game on, I play to win, this is my house now, let the games begin. Game on, watch me rise from the dirt to the clouds to the star-filled skies. Game on, I play to win, this is my house now, let the games begin. They threw bricks, but I built me a palace. Sharpen my mind, turn pain into malice. I'm a wolf in the jungle, a lion in the night. Eyes like lasers, locked on the fight. I'm the echo that shakes through the hall. Every time I fall, I grow 10 feet tall. No chains, no walls can keep me bound. I'm the thunder that roars when no one's around.
Tune in to Straight Sports Talk with Coach Vincent, Fridays at 8 p.m., sponsored by the Nighthawk Network Detroit. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
Victories are firing, I'm the flame. Game on, watch me rise from the dirt to the clouds to the star-filled skies.
Two new radio stations hit the net, Road to Stardom Radio and eBuck Beats Radio. Check us out on rdoai.com/RTSR or eBuck88 to hear great music created by us. You won't be disappointed.
Your Uncle E-Buck here. Please join me and Uncle Hugh
as we talk the new cult classic, Welcome to Derry. That's right, on this week's episode of Two Unks Talking TV, we're talking about the horror classic, Welcome to Derry. So please join us in the comments. If you got any favorite episodes or characters, or if you just want to learn about the Welcome to Derry and the whole Stephen King multiverse, this is the show for you. So please check us out on Two Unks Talking TV as part of my Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
You're watching a Nighthawk Network presentation.
All right, we are back. As y'all saw that commercial, you see that we got a new show that me and Hugh do as well. It is called Two Unks Talking TV. And as you see tomorrow, we will definitely be talking about the show called Welcome to Derry, a personal favorite of my brother's. You want to give him a quick preview?
Yeah, I'm gonna just get off into everything from the details of it and where it actually came from, and we just gonna kind of get into the origin of the whole thing. I don't want to bore some of the people, but I know a lot of the horror movie fans will definitely appreciate it. But yeah, we definitely will tap into some of how the Stephen King multiverse have to do and how all this stuff specifically went on at the same time during his movies.
And when I say it's very complicated and complex, and I'm definitely looking forward to the history lesson on it from my brother Hugh, I am, because like I said, just looking at some of the little research I've done, it's like, okay, this book, now that book, now this movie, now that movie. Okay. And Steven don't even remember writing most of this? Yeah, we going to get into all that tomorrow. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to the show at hand, Google Sports Session. What we talking next, Hugh?
I want to talk about the NBA, man, and talk about what happened, man. It was some good stuff that happened in the NBA. One of my favorite games, I told you, really surprised me. It was like I looked up and I said, okay, basketball on. Let me go ahead and check it out because it was on kind of early. And I've noticed as of late, the games have been coming on earlier too since the NFL season's winding down. But this was a Saturday front that I've seen too, or it was like, yeah, I believe it was Saturday, but one of the games I saw. And it was one of the better games too this year that I actually chimed into. It was the New York Knicks versus the Philadelphia 76ers. And it was everything I thought it'd be, man. Did you get a chance to look at the highlights or see that game?
I did see some of that. Keep in mind, we got to talk about the fact that a week or so prior, the Knicks was losing and losing often and bad to the point to where the man on that squad, young Jalen Brunson, was like, you know what? No, time out. Everybody get in this locker room, players only meeting. We got to talk about this issue. So apparently that transpired, and then right after that, something magical has happened because now the Knicks is back on and they popping. Leading to this game we about to talk about now.
They've been on like a 4 or 5 game win streak, something of that
Absolutely.
nature. Yeah, man, that was one of their wins right there that definitely helped them turn things around because that game was like back and forth because they were up by a little bit, and I said, okay, man, it looked like they're gonna definitely, close this game out. But then Philly made a heck of an effort to catch back up in this game. Maxey looked good, but I definitely appreciate the efforts of Robinson, man. The kid, he's been banged up for a while, but he played really good.
Mitchell
Him
Robinson, yes.
and what's my man's name? Because Mitchell always play good when he's healthy, but he's been
Yes.
injured a lot. But OG Anunoby, man, he played really good that game too.
Absolutely.
And top of that, you had Brunson and Cat do what he do. And he's a big who's kind of sloppy though, man, to me. And I feel like he need to get that footwork and everything under control. But that being said, it was a heck of an effort, man. It was just two really good teams that match up well. And I think that at the end of the game, though, my man's Joel Embiid was pissed off and he had a gripe because he felt like he got fouled on the last possession when they were trying to go down and, close out or try to tie the game. But yeah, anyway, that was one of the better games that I saw, man. But not only that, then you had another game after that was just as good. So yeah, it's been some really good basketball on, man. A lot of points has been going on too because especially Luka Doncic, man. Skinny Luka's been one of the best things that we've ever seen as advertised.
He definitely been playing some good ball lately. Of course, can't watch Philly without thinking about my man's pride because yeah, he definitely would have been proud of how Embiid has played these last few games. But again, I want to believe in Embiid like I believe in Joe Hendrick, but I already know it's gonna happen, man. And it's hard because every time you really start to think, yeah, he done turned that corner, he about to really show out for this next few months. That's when he mess around and get hurt again, man. And and you start to look at more players in the league like that. One that I definitely want to talk about for a minute or so is my man Giannis. Because if you notice these last 2 years, Hugh, that dude Giannis been getting hurt more often. And most of it has to do with his calf. Okay? Now, we've been watching NBA this last decade or so, right? Usually when a player starts to have issues with his calf on a regular basis, that usually leads to one thing that we really hate, but it's been happening more and more often. What is that, Hugh?
That Achilles injury.
That freaking Achilles. Go back to the days of when KD was with the Warriors. It all started with that calf injury. And he tried to play through it. Playoffs came, got hurt again. Finals came, tried to play through it. What happened? Pop, Achilles. Last year, NBA Finals, Halliburton started with that calf injury. Tried to play through it, Game 7, pop. Tatum, pop. Dame Dollar, pop. And now here we go with Giannis, okay? Now here's the problem. Giannis makes one of the biggest salaries in the game. And he wants to play. The only reason why he is shut down for the next 4-6 weeks now is because they're trying to get it to where they can get it under control. But if it was up to Giannis, he'd be playing right now, hurt and all. And that being said, when it's time to evaluate him, Giannis ain't going to tell the truth. Yeah, I'm good, y'all. It don't hurt that much. But because Milwaukee wants to keep him and probably will keep him during the trade deadline because people kind of scared about that calf thing, I can see it happening. I'm not wishing it on Giannis, knock on the wood, but if that happens, particularly to a player like Giannis, who plays based on his athletic ability, not so much his ability to score, here we go again. Milwaukee's done after that.
I know they're going to
simply this, Hugh. Down to 4 to 6 weeks, should they go ahead and shut him down for the season and hit the tank mode?
I'm thinking they just gonna have to mess around and figure out and listen to see what people have out there because they're gonna give up King's ransom, and right now they probably can't afford to keep that dude. But then, like you said, teams gonna be afraid to take on that contract or that responsibility, knowing he's starting to get those bad freaking injuries. So yeah, it's gonna be a crazy week, man, because the trade deadline's coming up too. So it's gonna be a lot of stuff to look at and see what's gonna happen around the league. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I would really be surprised if he's still on that roster after the trade deadline.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't. If I'm a team, I'm not trading for Giannis. I'm letting his contract play on out, and then I'm trying to sign him after the fact. So that if in the end it is a situation with that calf and I end up missing him for a year or so, I ain't had to give up half my team to get that. All I had to do was pay that, bro.
Yeah, because the King ransom, the teams wanted, and I seen some of the things like you'll have to give up 3 regular players and then 3 first rounders for some teams, and I wouldn't do that.
And yeah, that whole the Piston, no, get our name up out their mouth. It ain't worth that for me because we a lot closer than I feel people give us credit for. You do that with Giannis, no, you kind of put us back a year or two, especially if he mess around and get hurt. No.
It'll be something similar to what we had already before.
Same with the New York Knicks. If I'm them, I'm not doing that right now. Nope.
Because I know that when you get those big name players and your eyes open wide, and then it don't work out, man. Nah, I don't think I want to have that happen again. When it happened to us before, you can't burn us again twice.
Nope, not doing it.
Another person who I feel like when it came to his stock, man, being like tainted right now is Jonathan Kuminga, man. That dude's been diagnosed with a bone bruise in his left knee. And now, man, you can't even probably get nothing for him right now, man. So he's stuck, man, in limbo over there in Golden State. What's gonna happen with that brother, Jonathan Kaminga, man?
He eventually gonna get out of there. I mean, I don't know how much longer he got on his contract, but I'm not re-signing with them. They don't love me over there. They never really did. So he'll end up somewhere. Now, bone bruise is different than that whole calf thing, but again, it may start out bone bruise, end up ACL. Again, if I'm a team, I might offer a little something. But if in the end, they're like, no, we need 2 picks and 2. Nope, not for Kaminga. No, sir.
Man, it's like that dude can't get a break. I feel bad for him, man.
Right. And truthfully, the Warriors kind of need to keep him because of what happened to Jimmy Buckets.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely need to keep him over there, man, because he's been playing those minutes as of late. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's like it's cheaper to keep him at this point.
Right.
Question two, I wanted to see too what was going to happen in the league is because I've been hearing stuff like Dalton Connect's been pissed off right now with the Lakers. Man, he definitely want to get him somewhere else where he could go because no disrespect, but man, you got LeRae over there, you got Luka balling in, you got LeBron and Rule, man. It's like all of them dudes, man. Everybody's clicking over there, man. When they own, they own, but when they off, they off. And I just feel like Don Connect hasn't been really getting the playing time he needed. But he asked to be traded, and I believe now they're willing to give him that opportunity.
I think it's a good move for the Lakers to do so. He really don't fit the culture like they need him to. And I think you can get something decent for him, particularly
Yeah.
somebody that you can put in the post to help out Aiden.
Did you see the game just recently, man? Yesterday when my man's put up like 40 some points, man. Him and Luca. Luca put up 47. I think Spider put up 40 yesterday, man. There's been some really good games and explosive games over this last week or so in the NBA, man. Do you think it's because of the lack of defense, or you just think the skilled players are coming out to play?
I think it's that time of the season where, you didn't got warmed up and whatnot. It's time to start showing up and showing out in this thing. You're getting close to the All-Star break, so you feeling comfortable with what your team is or what it's gonna be, and you start to say, okay, it's time to shine now. Let's do this. And I think that's what it is. Definitely got to shout out our Detroit Pistons playing very well right now. Never thought that they would be in first place in the Eastern Conference at this point in the season. Thought they was gonna have a good season. Nothing like this.
Hell, they still only one game behind the Oklahoma Thunder right
Was the
now, too.
best record in the league. Absolutely. I am very impressed with them.
Derrick Rose gets his #1 jersey retired, man. I definitely felt like that was awesome. That was a cool moment for him, man. And it was good to see everybody who showed up and who talked at that ceremony. Even Jordan gave love. So yeah, I know he was definitely overwhelmed, but man, it was good to see my man's Thibodeau too there too. Tibbs was there. So yeah, it was just a pretty good situation for Derrick Rose, man. It was much deserved in Chicago too, as I have.
I mean, it's a whole different ball game when you are Derrick Rose, born in Chicago, played your high school ball in Chicago, and got the opportunity to play for your NBA franchise in Chicago. Ain't nothing like that, man. Big time love. It kind of reminded me of the scenario that went on back in the day when name John Long, Detroit Pistons, who literally grew up down the street from me. Literally, Hugh. Played for the Pistons, got his ring, got that love on his special day. All the people from the hood was there to check him out. All his players that he played with back in the day. It's different, you know what I'm saying? It's different when you grew up as a fan, end up playing for the team you grew up loving, and then got your love from the people that you grew up around. Ain't nothing like that, man. Nothing
Yeah.
like
That was really a cool moment for him too, man, to just have all that go on, especially when he came back and when he played for the Memphis Grizzlies and scored the 50 points in that game, man. where because he definitely felt like that was the end for him before he even came back from his injury, and then to have a big game like that, and then basically still know that you still capable of being an NBA caliber player, and then to end your career to be able to hang your jersey in the Raptors, man, I got nothing but love for that dude, man. That was definitely well deserved.
Right, because unfortunately, because of some of the leg injuries, he still wasn't quite the player he could have been. Because obviously, in his prime, I could probably think of one other person like that, and that was Grant Hill, who in their prime they was that dominant. You know what I'm saying? He could have won multiple MVPs if healthy. Same with Grant Hill. So yeah, definitely like that he got his flowers as a young man. You know what I'm saying? Don't know if he makes it to the Hall of Fame one day, but if he doesn't, hopefully that night will suffice.
And then you had dudes like the what ifs, like Anthony Hardaways and the Brandon Roys. It was just guys you definitely wish that you could have seen a lot more of, man. And yeah, man. Detroit Pistons, man. Head coach JB Bickerstaff is the head coach of the NBA All Star Game, man. I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see that coming, but to see it now, it's like you starting to get humbled and appreciate more of what the Pistons has been doing and the job that that man did on the coaching staff because we like one of the lowest as far as financial, payrolls too, man. And for the team to be playing like that as a unit and to mesh the way they are, because they're some dogs, man. They kind of remind me of the old school Pistons, man, how they play and how scrappy and gritty they are, man. So yeah, man, it definitely was well deserved. Congratulations to the coach, Bickerstaff.
Cleveland's loss is our game. I love it. And in
Definitely
the end,
appreciate it.
he's still not the happiest man in the building. I can't help but think, man, that dude got over all that damn money. Pistons paid that brother the coach. He coached 1 year. He's
Williams.
still
Yeah,
getting paid.
Mr. Monty Williams.
Monty is the true MVP.
Anything else you'd like to add to that, E?
Absolutely. I cannot believe we didn't went through this show and you're not gonna mention the real big sports story of the day. Are you serious, bro?
I am surprised, and not only I was shocked to hear when I heard what happened, and I thought it was a dream, E man.
Can
I
you
went,
talk to the people so we can really talk about this thing?
Coach, the GOAT of all coaches, Bill Belichick of all people, is not first ballot Hall of Fame. He has 2 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator, 6 with the New England Patriots, been to way more Super Bowls. I say about 11 Super Bowls. And nobody's giving this man his props, man. You
No,
in
no,
the
no,
first
no, no,
Hall
no,
of
no, no.
Fame?
Keep talking. Second most wins of all time. Okay? Most wins in playoff history as a coach. Come on, man. Most
He
conference
got,
championships as a coach.
and he got
20
more.
straight winning seasons as a coach. Come on,
He
man.
got more rings than Lombardi himself. That should be the Bill Belichick trophy right now.
3-time coach
And
of the year. Come on, keep talking.
you just can't get that dude that opportunity to be a first ballot. It was some salty people like Detroit Vincent and even Bill Polian, man, I think that voted against him. I know you
Okay.
heard.
Let's talk this story, okay? Understand, from what we come to know, there are 50 people who are entrusted to make the vote as to who goes in the NFL Hall of Fame every year. In the end, it comes down to them whittling it down to 5 finalists, okay? And that final vote, you only allowed to vote for 3 of the 5 finalists. The process, stupid, okay? First of all. Second of all, as a player, you have to wait 5 seasons before you are considered for the ballot of the Hall of Fame. As a coach, you don't have to wait that long. Again, stupid. Stupid, okay? Now, that being said, we know Belichick has been gone a couple years now, right? And here we are at the Hall of Fame. Okay. Now, of the 50 people, you got to get 40 of those 50 votes, in other words, 80%, to be considered one of the people that gets in. All right. Apparently, Belichick got between 39 and lower, okay? And as a result, did not get in on the first ballot. What are we doing? What are we doing? There are coaches that have won less games that are first ballot Hall of Famers.
First
There are
ballot.
coaches that have no Super Bowl rings that were first ballot Hall of Famers, okay? And you mean to tell me Belichick got that resume and then some? And that brother ain't a first ballot, without a doubt, unanimous pick for the Hall of Fame? That is bull crap, okay? Complete bull crap. Understand. I know the writers, they feel like, man, he wasn't that friendly to talk to. He always did us go in the press conference. We know Bill didn't like to talk in the press conferences. Okay, so what? He did his job, did he not? And then, of course, the whole Bill Polian thing, like, well, I wanted people to consider what happened with Spygate and Deflategate. And I felt like because of that, maybe he should wait a year to get in and kind of get, punished a little bit. Who the hell are you to consider that? When you barely made the Hall of Fame, you're damn sir.
The only reason he really did because he was the one who, actually got, his foot in with New England to help out with the franchise, man. Because of that, if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't even be in.
Man, he was always on Paul Tagliabue's glizzy.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he got in. Now, this being said, okay, let us also mention in this conversation that at least at the moment, because it's still to be voted on, that damn Robert Kraft is not even in the Hall of Fame. What the hell is up with that? And he been eligible for over a decade now. Are you serious? That damn Jerry Jones in the Hall of Fame, but my man's Kraft, who done won way more Super Bowls, been to way more Super Bowls in recent times, was not already a Hall of Famer. Are you serious? Here's how I took
that organization. You already know it's a lot of hate with that organization.
Here's how I took this, Hugh. I always look at it in terms of my favorite coach out here right now. Of course, as you know, it's Coach Gino Auriemma. All right. Obviously, he is in the Basketball Hall of Fame already. We know this. But, okay, let's take the second best coach out here right now in college basketball. And no, it is not, of course, Rick Pitino, who is already in. It would be Dawn Staley, correct?
Absolutely.
Imagine them saying Dawn Staley is not a first ballot Hall of Famer when her time comes. You understand how crazy that sounds? When she done won all these damn games, been a Hall of Famer as a player, by the way, been in the WNBA, Hall of Fame as well, then won 3 national championships. That's quite a resume, is it not?
It's a great resume.
Bill Belichick's resume 3 times better than that. And you mean to tell me it's some people that had the audacity to mitigate a guard to be like, yeah, he ain't good enough to make it on the first ballot. Come on, people. Now, they done did this before, all right? Think about my man's Terrell Owens, who, again, was a person that some people did not like. He rubbed them the wrong way. So, yeah, they made him wait a couple years. It was bullshit. He's perhaps one of the 3 best wide receivers ever. Ever. Probably could play right damn now and have a 1,000-yard season. Seen that brother lately? He's still in damn good shape. Him and that damn Michael Irvin. But anyway.
He run against some of the better athletes and hang with them still. It ain't like he no slouch.
He actually trains with him and everything. But anyway, back to Belichick, all right? This is a travesty of major proportions, okay? And then, of course, you had to think, okay, if he's being penalized for the Deflategate and the Spygate, in a couple years, somebody else is eligible for NFL Hall of Fame. And that brother is Tom Brady. You mean to tell me it's going to be people that's going to take their punk-ass ballot and be like, well, Tom Brady has something to do with that. We're going to make him wait, too.
Yeah,
are you out your rapid ass, man?
I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Ain't no way in hell that's supposed to happen, Hugh. We all acknowledge him as the GOAT. The GOAT. 7 rings, okay? 7. More than Jordan, all right? Damn near up there with Bill Russell, all of that, all right? Went to 10 Super Bowls. Won it with 2 different teams. You mean to tell me it's going to be people that fix their mouth to say, nah, he ain't no first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, I understand he all-time leader in yards, touchdown, blah, 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 blah. That ain't good enough.
And the crazy thing is Brady got 2 Hall of Fame careers.
Right,
Remember,
because you already know coming up before him is Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees going to get in on the first ballot. You mean to tell me you going to put Drew Brees in on the first ballot and not Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? You don't get the hell out of here.
you know they're going to pick and choose.
And Mike Tomlin decided not to come back to coaching. He a first ballot Hall of Famer. I wish you would say different.
But you know the Shield going to do what they do. The Shield's going to definitely make sure they say they protect what they own.
And they need to correct this issue, okay? I agree with what the talking heads, particularly Stephen A, said this morning. If I got anything to do with the Hall of Fame, I'm not showing up this year. I boycott that bitch. For real. Because that's just extra, extra wrong, okay? And I wish they would do time like that. Come on, man. That's going to be a problem. A big one. I mean, because understand, unlike the Major League Baseball where they had the morality clause and whatnot, and that's why some of these people don't get in on first ballots, even though we know Babe Ruth was a womanizer, damn Mickey Mantle was a druggie. Don't even get me started on Tyrus Cobb's racist behind. But yet, Belichick, okay, the scandals aside, keep it in mind that the Deflategate is not something new to just the Patriots. Other teams have done that to footballs. The Spygate is not new to the Patriots. Other teams have done that recording game. It just so happened they the ones that you choose to catch because you got tired of them winning so damn much.
That's all it was.
It ain't nothing but hateration, bruh. I don't care if Bill Belichick slapped your mama and called her a bitch. You cannot deny what he has done as an NFL coach. He should be first ballot. He shouldn't even had to wait. As soon as he determined he wasn't coming back, they should have put him in. I'm talking about, hell, I could say the same for Brady. Damn waiting these 5 years. They need to do a Roberto Clemente and put him in on the spot. I mean, granted, we know why Roberto Clemente was put in on the spot. We don't want it to happen because of that match. But
yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
But you know how it is, man.
But yeah, we had to talk about that. I could not let the show go without that being a discussion. And I'm just surprised you waited till the end of the show to even have that discussion.
The reason why is because we're going to talk about the Super Bowl preview with the 2 teams' strengths and weaknesses. It's not going to be that long, but I want to talk about that, man, as far as...
Now, are we doing that now or are we doing that next week?
Do you want to do... You know what? Let's say that for next week, man.
And also, remember, next week we also want to give y'all guys a final report card of the other teams and how we felt they did this year and what we think they need to do to get their ish together for next year.
Because that'll definitely save us and that'll give us a little bit more time to have to talk about that because we already know their strengths and weaknesses, man, just from playing and watching them right now. And
True.
It's still an advantage to a team, but we're not going to say it right now. But until then, we'll just save that till next week. We'll just, get into that by then.
Right. And, of course, remember, y'all, some good games coming. Again, we got that Michigan State game. We got my UConn Lady Huskies playing Tennessee. That should be a good matchup on Sunday. And it's a couple good matchups for Vanderbilt this weekend. And I believe that South Carolina got another good one as well. So, yeah, definitely check out some college basketball this weekend.
They just denied your boy Eli Manning, too.
Well, he should not be a first ballot Hall of Fame.
It's like this. Who cares when, if you can't get my man's Bill in, it's like, wow, you definitely want to.
If Eli got in before Bill, that would have just made me madder. So, okay. That's where I'm at with that.
Well, that's all I have to say. Man, anything else you want to add, brother?
That's pretty much what I got. Unfortunately, our girl Coco Gauff did not advance in the Australian Open. It's very hard as a person that likes tennis to be involved with tennis these days. I said this. When the Williams sisters declined and stopped being a part of the equation, people was going to stop talking about tennis so much. Tiger Woods, when he ain't no longer involved in golf, people stop talking about golf so much. It's sad truth of the matter.
I know my sister's still gonna watch. My sister Harriet, a diehard tennis, supporter. So I'm gonna definitely hear from her for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, y'all already know, man. Hell, they can
Here we
catch us.
go.
As far as I'm concerned, All right, you guys, y'all already know what time it is. Y'all can catch me at Whovy, WHOOVI on Instagram. I put up for the most part our promos and breaking news. I like to say I appreciate all you guys for showing love and support. That's been getting a lot of good reviews as of late. Sports Guru to You is my Facebook page where I talk nothing but sports. I give the breaking news, highlights, and then the end results of the games, the final scores. And you can catch me at TikTok at Hugh.Lee6. And I would like to say I appreciate you all. We would like for a lot of you people to go down and click in the comments too and click our links, like and subscribe. We got them all on our platforms, but I'd like to also give a shout out to the Nighthawk Network and all our supporters. And I'd like to say thank you once again. It's highly appreciated.
Absolutely. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing. And do us another favor if you would. If you like our show like that, share it to some of your peoples and let them know what we got going on here. We appreciate you doing that as well. One special shout out before I want to shout out Aria. That's Areya. She is a Twitch gamer and somebody I used to work with back in the day, one of my work nieces. You can check her out on Twitch at Aria Hour, AREYAHOUR. You could do that favor for me. I appreciate you for doing that as well. All right, y'all. Until next week, man. We'll holler at you. Throw the deuces up, bro.
See y'all Thursday. 2 Ounce Talking TV. Welcome to Dairy.
Oh, yeah.